Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside of Genie, where we will be looking at today's racing from the fall on the classic course. Today's date being the 15th of October. Yeah, we're now nearly just a few months away from Christmas. Unbelievable. So before I start, I just want to quickly, for the persons who are watching this video for the first time, what we do is we do analysis of the form analysis, and then we find outsiders that we give to you as the punter. We're not a tipping service. I give you the selections in terms of outsiders that I think that you can include in whatever your play is, what you fancy, because each punter has his own favorite plays, some like pick sixes, jackpots, quartets, whatever it is. You then take those numbers and add them into your numbers, so that if those outsiders arrive, you can then get the bigger payout. That is the whole purpose of outsiders. You need to assist you to get that bigger payout, should the outsiders arrive, and should we have given you the correct outsiders. So what we also offer is we offer a service where we give you on a daily basis a race by race selection. We give you 3 selections per race, which is the first selection is called our outright selection. That is the selection that I think can win the race, and that can be any price. It can be the favorite, it can be 12 to 1. We have given outsiders as high as 53 to 1 that has actually arrived as outright selections, and then we give 2 outsider selections that you then can include, and those 2 are not given in any specific order. We also give best bets of the day. Our best bets are normally not as 17 to 20 or 8 to 10. That you can find yourself. We've given best bets at decent values, sometimes as high as 6 to 1, 11 to 2, that is 1. We give you daily doubles, 2 daily doubles that you can play. We give you pick 6 and quartet selections, which often arise, not often arise, but you can use those numbers and add them into your play. Because something that I've recently noticed, I'm always out on my selection, my pick 6 and PA, 1 leg. Yesterday again at Durban, I was out at Gravel, 1 leg, PA and the pick 6. But the reason for that is I play a limited amount. I mean, I give you a selection round about a pick 6 between 100 and 150 rand. So if you have got a little bit more money, you could probably add to that, and then maybe you will be standing in a payout queue collecting PAs and pick 6s. So our subscription for that is 500 rand a month. But if you subscribe now till the end of October, we can subscribe you for this for now for 300 rand. So for 300 rand, you can actually, I'm lying now, it's 250 because we're now in the middle of the month. So it's not 300 anymore. For 250, you can sign up now till the end of the month and try and see how our selections can work for you. So that is the, let's now look at the form and the betting. Yeah, just another thing that I want to say is that when I do my videos, you know, some people want me to do touch on more horses. Other ones, people want me to make it as short as possible. So I found a midway where I will touch on my outright selection, my 2 outsiders, and maybe 2 or 3 other horses. I'm trying to keep this video to around about half an hour. So let's look at the betting on the first race, which is a maiden plate over 1450 for 3-year-olds. Let's have a look at the betting here. Just opening this page quickly. It was open, but now it's not open anymore, so we just have to wait for that. Okay, waiting. We have a strong favorite here in the first race, and that is number 9, who is even money, God's Wood. 14 to 10, Bold Resolve, Harlequin Jack 12 to 1, Stader Course 14 to 1, 20 to 1, Frozen Palace 22 to 1, and longer the rest. So let's have a look at the form. Where we have number 9 is then also my selection, although it is a favorite, but number 9 is from a Paul Peter stable, and the one on Kennedy, they're getting in action again. a Willow Magic. This race is over 1450. This horse has died around 2 races, around over 1,000 meters. But I think, yeah, the 1450 should shoot. Drawn 4 has run 2 nice races. I'm just a little bit concerned. Should one Kennedy take this horse to the front, I'm not sure if he will stay. Probably going to ride it with a little bit of restraint and not going to the front from the start. But in this race, really has good form. Then let's have a look at numbers 1 and 2. Number 1 and 2 is both under the Cox table, but there's something interesting that intrigues me here, and that is number 1 is ridden by Kumalo, who doesn't often ride for the Cock. Um, but this horse has run over 2 juveniles, and then last time ran in a maiden for 3-year-olds, where he finished 2.5 behind Foreign Field. So there and thereabouts, I mean, has run some decent races against good horses. Master of this guy's Pure, they're all good horses. But now what I can't understand is the normal, I mean, Callum Murray, I think he's the first selection, the first jock for the stable, and he's riding on the coup de grace gelding Harlequin Jack, which is, he hasn't got very strong form, especially his last 2 races. And yeah, that debut 5.5, 5.3 behind Mount Pleasant, that what makes that form a little bit stronger. And it's also drawn 12. So I'm just wondering what's going on here. Why is Callum Murray not on number 1 and Kumalo on number 2? But we don't know. We don't know how the trainers work and what they think. Maybe Kumalo was riding some work for them, and they now want to throw him a bone. I'm not sure about that. Ultimate Warrior also had a good race over 1450 last time, under course and distance. Drawn 2, I think will definitely be involved when the photos are taken, not a horse to leave out. Here we have Frozen Palace, also it's from Babib staple. Porter Palace, Pierce Stradon, drawn 11. Has shown fair, his first 2 races was fair, and then also the last 2 races, the wheels fell off. One will have to look for improvement here. Didn't do too well in 2 work riders, now finding itself in a strong race. I'm thinking maybe the best for this horse can be a place at best. Curfew is a Sin Grey, and what a trainer. I mean, he brings horses, and you always have to watch his horses. Curfew is showing signs of improvement, and maybe chuck this in. If you play a multiple, chuck this into the back end of your quartets, because the horse is improving a little bit. Brown on board from draw 1 can surprise. Then there's not much left for further in this field. So in this race, so yeah, here's another one I wanted to talk about. Humble Tune is a noble tune by Miss Diana. If I'm not mistaken, Miss Diana has thrown 1 or 2 nice winners. Did debut reasonably over the turf in 1450. Now in the fall, Larina board, drawn 6. And I think Humble Tune can probably a horse that you want to include in all your play. So let's move on to race number 2, which is a maiden plate over 1600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Number 14, La Luvia, 14 to 10. Lotus, 15 to 10. Bella Black, 12, 11 to 1. Saving Grace, 14 to 1. Rosoli, 14 to 1. 18 Mode to 1. Mode, 18 to 1. And 20 to 1, and longer the rest. Now, here in this race, let's have a look at make sure number 14 and 17. Right, let's have a look at number 7 here. Lotus. Lotus is a flower alley filly, nice filly. Has been running well and is now ran second, trying to go start to finish. Last time out on the Vaal, 1600 meters. I don't know if they're going to try the same tactics, but they're going to find it much more difficult going start to finish on the Vaal 1600 meters, because I think the Vaal 1600 meters is a little bit more tough than the Turffontein 1600, because there you have a short straight, whereby with this 1600 meters you got a much longer straight. And yeah, we will have to wait and see on this one. And then number 14, La Luvia, did debut in a juvenile behind Anything Goes, which obviously I checked it. This was when Anything Goes won her second race, and she has won further free. But I wasn't impressed. I mean, yeah, it was okay, but it's not like it was an earth-shattering debut. And I found this horse, number 15, Rosoli, Yeah, this, she finished 9.75, but the first two horses drew away and won by, I think they, won by 9 lengths, because there was a 0.75 between the winner and the second horse. So then she was 9 lengths behind the second horse. But I do think that those first two are very good horses. She did debut well over the 1200 meters on the inner course, 22.4, which is not bad. Last time out, she was even she was 9 inches behind, 25.7, third fastest to 400 meters. So I think Rizzoli today in this race, a very big runner. I know the breeding Rubisa has thrown some nice foals. Jackson, I got respect for Jackson. Offspring. So I think 15 Rizzoli definitely is going to give the top two a hard time. So let's move on to race number 3, which is also maiden plate over 2,000 meters this time. And let's have a look at the betting. Here we have Flower 28 to 10, Scottish Promise 23 to 10, Super Duper 7 to 2, If You Run 14 to 1, 15 to 4, sorry, 92 Bright Eyed Girl, 20 to 1 Farewell, but 25 to 1 Olympic Destiny, 75 to 1 and longer the race. So let's have a look at this race. Now, first of all, I want to talk about Flower. Flower has run some nice races, a 4-year-old trippy by Galileo, going the 2,000 meters for the first time. So definitely one is not sure whether he's going to do the distance, but the indication is that probably will. Then we have number 2, Bright Eyed Girl. This is a Captain Elba, also by Galileo Me. This horse has shown nothing in the Cape, and now coming to Joburg and has had a 65-day rest. Weissel Marvin has got the knack of improving horses that comes from the Cape Town. So definitely include this, especially if given Arena on board, include this in all your play, because this is an unknown factor. Super duper, getting places all the time, definitely in with a chance. Kumalo riding on board, definitely huge chance. For Euphoriant, also has run some nice races, definitely in with a chance. May probably be there when the photos are taken. Then I want to go down here to number 13, which is Scottish Promise. Now, this horse is crying out for this distance. He debuted 1,200 meters, not bad, really, a fair debut. Then last time by a Liverpool legend, I think I saw it was a little bit outpaced. It battled to quicken. And once it got going, the race was over. But I think over the 1,200 meters, definitely my first selection to win this race, this filly from Flower Alley by Tiger Reach May. Let's move on to race number 4, which is a classified state class D, merit rating 66, 2,400 meters. Another very interesting race. Now let's look at the betting. Palace Green 5 to 2, Sun Giant 11 to 2, Littlewood 8 to 1, Ration My Passion 9 to 1, Rocky Path 9 to 1, Kings Cup 9 to 1, Captain Chorus 12 to 1, Shabba Ranks 14 to 1, Perfect Light 14 to 1, Illuminate 14 to 1, 25 to 1, and longer the rest. Yeah, normally, they have got this thing about this is for horses that with a net rating of 75 and below, and then they give the best weighted. But I can tell you, I've checked this best weighted column nearly. It's not like it's with a graduation plate, a novice plate. It really works out to what is in that column. Now here you got number 1, Captain Couriers, one of my outsider selection. This, if you see this race has got an average merit rating of 66. Here we have a horse running in 80s, 85, 76, and I do believe that Captain Chorus last time out running a strong race. This was the race where Brand New Cadillac actually beat Dance Alley, who had won 6 races in a row. So that's a much stronger race than he finds himself in now. And here is my first selection for this race, outright winner. Number 2, Rocky Path, that ran third on over the weekend, and I'm sure the 2,400 will not be a problem. Also, horse running in higher divisions. Last time out was beaten by Sun Giant, but I think the longer distance will suit this eightfold path gelding, and I'm sure Rocky Path is going to be there when the photographs are taken. Yes, Palace Green, the favorite. Yeah, I can't see him beating those other horses, although he's been running seconds, but he's been running in much lower divisions. You know, I'm a handicapper. I look at, you know, there's a strain that they say you keep yourself in your best company and and your horses in the worst company. And if you look at these horses, the fields that they've run in, it's not the same field that Palace Green has run in, although he was beaten by Dance Class twice. Um, yeah, so definitely, any of a chance, Cameron Arena on board, but not my first selection. Yes, number four, in for a penny, that has been scratched. Then I want to go down here to Sun Giant. I think Sun Giant also a huge runner. I will appreciate a longer distance. I also think the further this horse goes, the better it will become. So look out for this Luke Ferraris on board from Draw 11. Although it ran in lower division, but it hasn't had many runs, can still improve. Only had 6 runs and already a 5-year-old, so can still improve. Littlewood is a mare who's always there and thereabout, but also in the lower divisions, but can probably run a price of Pierce Stradom on board. Yes, Shabba Ranks. You remember Shabba Ranks, which I tipped you last time out, winning at 53 to 1. What a day. But I think today the field's stronger. Although he still gets to -4, I think he's going to battle to win this race today. But here I want to show you one of my outsider selections also is number 12, Perfect Light. Now, this horse is extremely well bred. Jam Alley by Painter's Dream by Sadler's Wells. This Painter's Dream has thrown a number of good horses, and the names escape me now. But this horse you must include in everything. It's coming from a 300-day race. It might need the race, but I can tell you, Surgeon Gray won't bring this horse to the course unfit. So Perfect Light might be a nice big surprise. So do include in all your pay. Ration My Passion, also last time out, won over 2-6, but also against a lesser company. But if you can afford in the budget, throw it into your pick sixes and your back end of your quartets. So that concludes race number 4. Let's move on to race number 5. Guys, before we move on to race number 5, I just want to quickly touch on something else. You know, I do this, and the video I do for free, I spend hours on this, and then I've got my subscription where I get a few rand in. But doing that, I cannot live on that money. It is impossible. So recently, I came about a very good business opportunity, and I joined this business opportunity. It only cost me 100 rand to join. And in the last week, I mean, I'm only started, and it's been picking up. I've been keeping tabs every day. My income is increasing. I've made 1,000 rand. Yesterday, I made nearly 400 rand. And as I said, I'm still in the beginning stages. So if you're in a situation where you need income or you need extra income and you can't do all you can't, you know, pay all your bills, or you need a little bit extra money to play on the horses, or whatever your situation, if you need extra cash, I urge you, contact me. I'll send you the information. It's costing you nothing. I'm not charging you. I'll send it to you. You can make a decision. I mean, I'm sure you spend more than 100 rand on the horses. So why not spend 100 rand on something that can change your future? And if you want to, just send me a WhatsApp, and I'm going to give you the number. Please put it on this number, because this is the business number I use for this business. 061 231 0193. I repeat, 061 231 0193. Just send me a WhatsApp and say, listen, I heard you on the video, and I really want to have some more information. And as I said, it's gonna cost you 100 rand to start. And I will help you. I've got a business plan in place for you, everything. So you won't be on your own. Why not try it? You have a look at it, and it can change you and your company and your future. And what the beautiful thing about this is, even if you've got a teenage child that can and has got a cell phone, they can make money with it. I've got this one guy, he signed up, he immediately signed up his daughter because he said he gave it 100 rand, and now she can start doing this and sign up all her friends. And you know, remember those young people, they talk to people, and they much better than us on social media. And now she can earn her own money, and you know, and become independent. So if you have young kids, and you know, Sometimes you can't afford to give them everything what they want. Why not give it a bash, man? Contact me, send me a WhatsApp, say, Otto, I heard you on the video. Send me the details. It's going to cost you 100 Rand. And, and, and I thank you for listening to this. If this is not for you, that's fine. So let's move on to race number 5, which is the betting as follows. Let's Talk 7-2, Sammy Musa 6-1, Tigers Rock 7-1, back to back 7-1, 8-1 Nabilia, Bellagio King 10-1, Kurt's Approval 11-1, Bouncing Tiger 14-1, 16-1 Rabe the Rebel, a Fraud 16-1, and 20-1 and longer the rest. Yeah, another open race. Race 5, where my selection is number 1 Tigers Rock. We're sitting here with a Class D average man rating 66. Here we have Tiger Rock. First of all, Tiger Rock, at one stage in his life, was a 91 merit rating, now a 74. He's been running against stronger fields, but because his merit rating is coming down all the time, now he's running against lesser fields. And I do feel last time out, he was running well, and I do believe the fastest 400 to finish stayed on. I'm looking for Danielson to bring this Tigers Rock home. Then for outsider selections, I'm going for number 3, Nabila. Did one well last time out, do include again. And then number 14 is Bellagio King. This horse, I remember when he won his maiden, it won so well that I thought this horse is going to go on. But then again, he ran against some decent opposition. Christopher Robin, Tough Choice. Oyster King is no donkey. Barak, okay, there 13 innings, but he was the African Avenger. But now also his merit rating has come down from a 74 to a 62, and now he's becoming competitive. Last time just got beaten by Sun Giant, and I do feel that Kumalo today have got a huge chance with this horse today. Yeah, there are horses of chances in this race that you maybe want to look at. Let's Talk ran a decent race after the maiden, can probably be involved in a finishing again another St. John Grey runner that you can't exclude. Back to Black won maiden 2 runs ago. Last time out running a strong graduation, can also probably be involved in the finish. Sami Musa, yeah, Sami Musa, I've given up on Sami Musa, but probably when you give up on him, then he'll run a good race. But definitely in with a chance, can win this race. Lyle Hewitson on board today, in with a chance. So that concludes my assessment for this race. Let's move on to the next race. Race 6 is another classifying stake, Class D, 67 over the 69 meters. Let's have a look at the betting race 6. Here we have number 1, Whipping Boy 4-1, 5-1, Pascal Samour, 7-1, Quackars, Big Was 7-1, In the Game 10-1, Fly North 12-1, Shukura 14-1, and longer the 14-1 Louvain, and Get Set and longer the rest. So let's have a look here. Now here my first selection is number 1, Whipping Boy. I've also made it my best bet of the day at 4-1 currently. If we have a look, it's Class D, average merit rating 67. Now here's Whipping Boy. Last time out he ran in a 79, a 72, 70. Now he's down to the 60s, and I really think that today might be the day that Whipping Boy is going to round up this race and win and win it. It's carrying 62, but getting the -4 down in class. I think Whipping Boy in with a huge chance in this race. Then I want to have a look at number 2. Wakas is always there and thereabouts, straight on riding, but from draw 14, but also running well. Okay, I think this can be Whipping Boy's biggest opposition, definitely in with a chance. Shukara coming up from a rest, but won his first race and thereafter didn't show much, so we'll have to improve. Let's wait for improvement on that one. The same goes for Latin Opus, better to win a maiden, and I think maybe today will be too strong for him. Bigwa just won a maiden, maybe a horse to follow, put into your play, your quartets and so on, because we don't know how strong this is. Pascal some more last time out when she won again. The second race after a maiden, I did gave it as my outright selection, and it won over a 1450. I think it can do 1600, but I do feel today it might be a bit stronger, but must have a chance. But I am thinking number one will be too strong for this horse today. You know, a nice outsider to include in your play is Lewin. Lewin is always there and thereabouts, not far off, has won in higher divisions than this. Samson riding, definitely he knows the horse well, and definitely include in all your play, quartets, trifecta, swingers, everything. So let's now move on to race number 7, where the speed is going to be on. So Pinnacle Stakes over 1,000 meters, Class B, average main rate in 91. Yeah, no, the speed is going to be on in this race. Here we have number 5, Anna Capri, 17 to 20, 11 to 2, Winter Watch, 13 to 2, Before the Dawn. Sweet Sensation, 7 to 1, Shalabella, 14s, Me Times 14, 16 to 1, and longer the rest. So let's have a look at number 5. Number 5 is now won twice on a coconut every time. But now she's going to meet a little bit stronger, I think. But yeah, she won so well, it's difficult to oppose her because she beat Greens by 3.5 lengths, and Greens just before that won his race by 6 lengths. So how good does it make her? I'm just wondering why they would take off Chase Majan to put on Greg Clarina. Greg Clarina. Gavin Arena. Yeah, I know sometimes, but I'm not the trainer. I don't know what's going on. So I think Anna Capri in with a huge chance. But I mean, the horse is not a certainty. Do include number 4, Sweet Sensation, in your play. This girl this horse has got this girl has got a big reputation, and found herself last time in futures in the Natal season. Now back home over the 1,200 meters, he also won easily by 52.5. So unknown, but can maybe involved in a finish. Then let's look at number 2. Winter Watch is also a horse who's got a lot of capabilities. I mean, he's a hard knocking me. Has won some good races. You don't win 5 races being a donkey. So can probably be opposition to Anna Capri. But maybe I think Anna Capri might be too fast for him in this race today. And also, Me Time coming from a long race to include the back ends. Did run some nice races before that, and might be, you put it like in the back end of your quartets. Capitana, ex good rough now with Udalakis. Yeah, this horse sometimes, I don't know, he runs good races, and then he can't put, battle to put 2 good races together. But that won 2 races earlier in her career, but since then hasn't done much. So, but might also maybe back end of quartets. Then we move to the last, the 8th race, another graduation plate, Class C, a main rate in 82. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 12, Variana, 18 to 10. Garden Party, 3 to 1. Shalom Queen, 3 to 1. Quite a Trip, 8 to 1. An Affair, 8 to 1. Maringo 15 to 1, Diwali 15 to 1, 16 to 1, and longer the race. So let's have a look here. When I saw this horse immediately, and I looked at the merit rate, the merit rating C82, and I just saw this horse has been competing in A and B division. That was my first selection until I saw this horse, hasn't run for 70 days. So I'm not sure if it's going to need a run. But early in the career, when he was still as high as 113, now a 94, run against some decent opposition. So this horse, number 1, no fear, definitely no styles, but already a 6-year-old, but only had 15 runs. So now with the Cock and Murray, well, it was also with the Cock, but what I'm meaning is with the Cock and Murray, a powerful combination, and a combination you can't leave out. This Aristides, I really expected something good from this horse, but he's also went after Boyle, wait for improvement. Now, when a Seven Garden Party has also run 2 good races. Yeah, so one will have to see if we can put it together today, to get together today, and be there when the photos are taken. Quite a trip. Did win maiden before, and then ran 8 lengths behind Vars Vicky. Yeah, not sure how strong this horse is, but probably can be involved in the finish. as is the same for Marengo. But I want to get down here to number 13, Shalom Queen. Shalom Queen is only carrying 54.5, drawn 12. Has run against some decent, I mean, Mount Pleasant, point one. What did Mount Pleasant do? War Room. Uh, Varenci went on to win the Allen Robinson, tempting fate, although that was not a good run. It was a very strong field. A static green, a very strong horse. Yes, she ran 4 lengths behind Anna Capri. If Anna Capri wins on a coconut, how strong will it make this form? So number 13, Shalom Queen, my selection to win this race. Here we have number 12, Ariana. Ariana also did run some a decent race after the maiden. But I mean, the form is not that hard that I would rush to the bookmakers to place a bet, but can be involved in the finish. So that brings us then to the end of this preview for today, the VAR. I hope I could point you in the right direction to get a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.